This is the teamwork game. There are many versions to this game, and this one is the Doowop board filling version. We'll introduce more versions as we go through different lessons in the course. If you can get your students accustomed to playing this game, you'll find it does an excellent job at providing many opportunities for them to practice the concepts that you presented to them. In the teamwork game, you'll divide your students into teams. The students will be seated at their desks or behind tables. The teams will be oriented in this fashion. This person here, this one, and this one are on the same team. And then these students over here are also on the same team. If you have more than 6 students like we have here, you can line up more tables and chairs end to end. In this teamwork version, you'll really only need 3 rows in this direction. You'll place yourself here at the head of all 3 tables. The students at the tables farthest from you in this version will be provided each a copy of a periodic table and then a piece of paper and a pencil. The students seated at the next table forward will be provided a supply of Doowops and then some means of transferring those Doowops to the teammate members at the table in front of them. The students at the table nearest you should each have a Doowop board. To begin play, you'll call out the name of an element. The students at the table farthest from you will find that element on their periodic table. They'll first write its name on their piece of paper, the element symbol, and then its atomic number. Once they have that done, they pass their paper forward. So the paper will move forward to the next table up. The students at this table will count out an adequate supply of Doowops in order to correctly fill a Doowop board for that element. So for example, if the element that you called was carbon, the team member here would write down the word carbon, then they'd write down the symbol C, and they'd write down a 6. The team member up here then would count out 6 Doowops, 3 of each color. And he or she would place those into the container. You can use a box or a cup or a bucket, anything like that, along with the paper. So we'll pretend to do that here. We'll place those Doowops into the bucket, and we'll pass everything forward. The student at the front table now will take those Doowops from the container and fill the board. As soon as he or she thinks that they have the board correctly filled, they'll turn the board around to show you. Okay? Now the team to first get all this information and the board to you first wins a point for that round. Actually win 2 points for the round. The team who comes in second can also earn a point if theirs is correctly filled. Now, if a team presents you a board that has mistakes on it, or a wrong symbol or incorrectly spelled element name, those items have to go back to the team member who should have written it correctly. So let's say, for example, this team was doing carbon and they got the board here, the paper. However, this student back here misspelled carbon. So what has to happen is you'll say there's an error with this team's work, and you point to the table which made the error. So you'll point back here to this first table. Then they have to pass everything back. This person has to make the correction and then pass it back forward. Now, if that happens, this other team over here that's working also may say, hey, we've got an advantage now. We can get ours up there. This first team here that made the mistake, though needs to keep working as quickly and diligently as they can to get their answer back to the front, because this team here too could also have a mistake in their work. So that's why this game is an excellent opportunity for teamwork to come into play. Now, let's say, for example, this student back here is Tommy, and Tommy's the one who had trouble spelling carbon. So if he wrote down carbon on his paper, and he passed his paper here to Mary, and Mary realized that, this is misspelled, she can send it back to Tommy first before the paper goes on farther. Now, she can't make the correction. Only Tommy can make it, but a student on the same team can certainly help an earlier student and say, hey, you misspelled this, or you've got this counted wrong, or whatever, to make the work a little more efficient, and in an effort to be the team to first get their board correctly filled. Alright, so as soon as you've got a winning team, and then the other team, whichever it is, they can still get that consolation point for their team, then you pass the materials back, and then play begins again. You call out another element. The team back here writes the name, number, atomic name, symbol, and atomic number. They pass it forward. They count the doo-wops. They pass everything forward. These teammates here fill the board and present to you. After you play 4 or 5 rounds with your students in this position, then you rotate. These guys up here in the front can move back to this front table, and then these 4 can move forward. Like I said, this game offers just innumerable opportunities to keep practicing these concepts, and as we move into the next lessons, we will make variations on play, and your students will just pick up right away and go with it again. Before we leave this segment on the board filling version of the teamwork game, I wanted to share with you some ideas on how to make a more rugged doo-wop board. There are many ideas and variations that you can use. One that we found that works exceptionally well for this type of game is just to take a pizza box, an unused pizza box, and you open it up, flip it over to the back side of it, and then if you trim away some of the flaps on the edge, you have a nice flat piece of cardboard there. And then onto that pizza box you can glue ketchup cups, just plain little Dixie cups or ketchup cups, onto the back of that, and then following the notation off of your manipulative booklet cover, you can create a doo-wop board just like we have provided there. So this may be a good idea to play this game. It keeps the doo-wops from flying everywhere as students move around, and it's a good idea to consider.